Hola clase, ¿cómo están? Hoy vamos a hablar del verbo tener. We're going to talk about tener a little bit today. It's a new verb. We've seen it before, but I just want to go over all of the uses of the verb tener and what it's for. Tener means to have, okay? So yo tengo un bolígrafo. I have a pen. It's got some weird forms in it, but tú tienes un bolígrafo. Those are all the verb tener. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tienen. But if we add a K to it, let's see if I can point at the right spot. Impossible in the mirror. Okay, if you add a K to it, it means to have to. So yo tengo que practicar el piano. I have to practice piano. So even though in English you'd be like, well, tener means to have, practicar means to practice, you still have to have the K in there, okay? You can't leave it out. So that changes the meaning from having something as in possession to having to do something. I have to, you have to, he has to, okay? So there's basically three uses you need to know for this chapter. Tener, just how to conjugate it and how to say I have, you have, he has, we have, they have. How to say to have to, I have to, you have to, etc. And then there's some weird phrases, and we've talked about these before, but now you need to know all of them. So for example, I'll go through these in a second, but I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm cold. Some of those phrases we'll go over in just a little bit. So there's three main things that you need to know with tener. The actual verb itself, tener que phrases, I have to, and then with the tener que and then tener phrases. All right? So let's kind of first go through, I know my little papers, but it's just the easiest way because I can't really do notes on the computer as easily as I could on a blackboard. So here we go. So here are the conjugations of tener. I know my nice piece of paper, didn't I cut it lovely? Tengo, I have. Tienes, you have. Tiene, he has, she has, you formal has. Tenemos, we have. Tienen, they have, or you guys have. So repitan. Tengo, tienes, tiene. Tenemos, tenéis, tienen. So that is how we say I have, you have, etc. So if I wanted to say I have a hamburger, I would choose the I have. Tengo a hamburger. Una hamburguesa. If I wanted to say we have a class, I would choose tenemos una clase. We have a class. If I wanted to say you guys have a TV, ustedes tienen un televisor. All right, so that's just the uses of this. Now remember to have to, conjugate just like this, and add a K, Q-U-E, as your next word. Tengo que practicar el piano. Tengo que ir de pesca. Tengo que ir de compras. So you can use any of your verbs in their infinitive form right after tengo que. And tengo que is always followed by the infinitive. Don't conjugate the second verb. If you conjugate the second verb, what you're getting is I have to, I fish. I have to, I swim. Yo tengo que nado. I have to, I swim. Does not make sense. So you want to leave it in the to swim form. I have to swim. Yo tengo que nadar. So leave it with its AR, ER, or IR ending. Okay? So the last use of tener that I don't have written on my cards because it was just too many and it's just flashcards basically, is there are some phrases we've talked about in Spanish. You're not going to say I am hungry in Spanish. The literal translation is I have hunger. But obviously we don't say I have hunger. So if you look on a vocab list, the translation is going to say I'm hungry because that's really what it's meaning. So there's tener hambre, I'm hungry, to have hunger. Tener sed, to have thirst, I'm thirsty. Tener hambre, tener sed. Tener calor, I'm hot, okay, or I have heat, I have hotness. Tener frío, I'm cold, to have coldness, okay, but you're not going to say to have coldness in English, but that's still how it's said in Spanish, to have coldness. Tener frío, I'm cold. To be in a hurry, tengo prisa, tener prisa. Prisa is to have hurriedness, okay? Tengo prisa, I'm in a hurry. Tener sueño, I'm sleepy. So sueño is one. Tener cuidado, To be careful or to have care is how it's said in Spanish, but it translates in English to be careful. And then there's with age. If you want to say you're 15 years old, tengo, I have 15 years. Tengo 15 años. If you're 16-year-olds, tengo 16 años. So you can use it with age as well. So those are basically the phrases that you'll need to know with tener. And you conjugate the verb like normal depending on who's doing the verb. That's going to determine your form of tener. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tienen. Okay? That's basically everything there is to know about the verb tener. You'll see it used throughout your packet, and there should be some explanations in there as well. Hopefully this is helpful if you're a auditory learner and those notes don't do a whole lot for you without the explanation. All right, thanks.